the same as I did.
Yeah. We're live. I don't know if we have anybody watching yet. I'm live at Matt Trotter's here, supporting Ava Wood and her blood drive. You can see the Oklahoma Blood Institute bus right behind me if you're watching. That's pretty cool. So people are here donating. There's like a bake sale, and they have t-shirts for her, and lots of great stuff to try to help out Ava and her family. I got some good news from her mom. She said that she's doing much better. She said Friday she kind of took a turn the corner a little bit and is doing a lot better. So she's been in the hospital for like roughly 2 or 3 weeks, and so she's on her way to being able to come home. So they're hopeful that this week she can come home. So hopefully that's the case. But we're super happy to be able to support her and support the Wood family today. So we're going to be doing basically our regular Monday pod. Michele Bera's on the line here, if you haven't heard him yet.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, so just join us. We're going to do, I'll kind of intro the show here in a second. I will be giving you guys some stats on giving blood and some reasons to give blood. Not only for Ava and her condition, but also just in general. So it's an overall pretty good cause. And we're also going to talk about the Thunder smashing the Rockets, which will be super great too. So I don't have a way to see if people are watching. But if you are, thank you. Appreciate you guys. And we'll try to have some fun. Michele, can you hear me? Okay. Uh-oh. Talk again, Michele. I need to see if I can get a good transmission from you.
A second. I'll do it from my phone. It's better.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can join from there.
Okay, let's try that. And if not, I don't know what we'll do. We'll figure something out.
No, we will. We'll do something. The beauty of being live. Yeah, for some reason my cell phone as of now doesn't work. I need to download the Hangout app probably.
Yeah, that's probably right. It's sounding okay right now. Let's get going.
Yeah,
I can if it starts to sound bad, I can just talk. I obviously can just talk needlessly as much as possible. So
yeah, what I was telling is that I am a donor as well of blood.
Okay.
I did it a lot. Now I cannot because I had some allergic stuff and it's not good anymore. But my blood is not as good, and so but I did it for 10 years. It's really a good cause.
It is,
and it's very simple. It's very simple. It doesn't hurt. So
right. Yeah, and it's a way to support people. I mean, Ava's living off donor blood primarily right now, and so you really are helping people out more than you know. And you probably get something out of it typically too, some kind of cookie or something when you give, especially with OBI here in Oklahoma City. Or I guess around Oklahoma, if you give, you usually get something. So, but what you're getting is way more than just like a cookie or like a gift certificate or whatever. I mean, it's a big deal. You're really helping, in some cases, helping some people stay alive. So it's a pretty cool deal. Okay, you want to get rolling?
Yeah, let me try to call you from my cell phone because now apparently I can.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, if you're watching, I want to tell you about some of the sponsors that we have here.
I'm back.
Oh, there you are. I was going to tell people about some sponsors for Ava's Blood Drive. So, Ron Sports World, Matt Trotter's Gymnastics, which we're at currently. Melissa Wallace, who does Cincy, is donating some of her profits to the Wood family. Same with LuLaRue. I'm sorry, I probably said that wrong. Kristen Cottle of LuLaRue is donating some of her profits. Brittany Hinkle of Pampered Chef. Zero Gravity Inflatables. There's actually an inflatable here right now. My boys are gonna come out here and play here in a little bit, which would be awesome. Julie with OBI has been super helpful, and then an artist named Christopher Nick, all donating some of their profits or their works or something to the Wood family, which is super incredible. So people are awesome. You know, community, we're going to talk a little bit about that in other ways, but it's just pretty cool to see the way that a community of people can gather and help somebody in need. So you guys that are, if you're watching or listening, you guys have, you know, helped the Wood family a lot, just through a group of people that like the same basketball team. So it's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, it is very important. And can I go on my semi rant / lot of love to OKC?
Yeah, let me kind of intro the pod and I'll start it there.
Okay.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of CLNS Media, dailythunder.com, and featured on Dash Radio at 5 o'clock Central Time. Right now, I'm at Matt Trotter's. We are broadcasting live. You may be watching on YouTube, which is super great. And if you are, hello. And if you're listening later, also hello. We're doing a blood drive here for Ava. She needs blood almost every day, and it's important that we have people coming to donate, and we have a lot of people, so it's great. You can see the bus back behind me if you're watching on YouTube. So pretty cool that we have the opportunity to do this to help out Ava and kind of raise awareness for blood drives just in general, but then for Ava Wood and for her family, that the support system that she has around her is tremendous, but then like the support system that she's had through our podcast has been just outstanding. And so I want to thank you guys, anybody that's donated your money. That's awesome. You can still donate blood if you don't come to this blood drive. You can donate blood in her name. If you live in Oklahoma, through OBI, which is the Oklahoma Blood Institute, you can donate to her in her name. So you can donate to Ava Wood still if you live in Tulsa or if you live somewhere else. You can still do that. So it's great. It's a great cause. And with all that, I've got Michele Berra on the line to talk about some pretty cool stuff with the Thunder too. Michele, what's up?
Well, there's been like a fun weekend, basketball-wise, from a certain point of view, and a little bit of sadness on the other hand.
Oh, like some real sadness, man. I want you to take the floor for a second, and then we can talk a little bit about Alex, and then we'll talk about the Thunder smashing the Rockets.
Yeah, I mean, as probably like many of the listeners know, I visited OKC almost a year ago. It was March, I think.
Yeah.
And like there are many people out there bashing OKC because they don't have a deal with Hollywood written in highly made capital letters, or they don't have a Fifth Avenue there with jewelry and stuff. Well, I miss OKC so much since I visit, and the people is what I miss. I miss the atmosphere of OKC. I miss being at the arena. But again, most of all, I miss being out there with people that get out of their way to be nice, kind, to be helpful with me. And I mean, I felt like when I visited OKC, it was a place where you are welcomed. And I'm saying this because I think that the Thunder, as an organization, they really show that they are part of the city, and they take care of their players.
Yeah.
I mean, I was impressed that during all the talking and the leaking and the media stuff, the name of Alex Abrines never came to place.
Yeah.
OKC was adamant in the desire to make what was best for him,
Hmm.
and this means taking care of the people, because you know how much that cost. That cost 24 millions roughly. Not
Hmm.
trading Alex Abrines,
Right.
it's not nothing. And even then, they don't have they didn't flinch. They just took care of him. And what happened yesterday, I think it's sad, because it means that Alex has been struggling way too much for him to be able to play basketball. And the
Yeah.
idea that he doesn't want to have, um, say, the pressure of trying to come back means that he is not in a good place. And I love him as a player. I love him as a human being. Probably like the fact that he's struggling so much hurts.
Yeah.
And I really hope that he gets better. And I'd love to see him playing basketball somewhere in the future with
Sure.
any jersey. But again, this is what it means being the real team made of people. And if you want to go on Twitter and bash the Thunder for not making the trade, yes, there are people that like 10 seconds after the news
Hmm.
they did it, go on. Or you can do as the Oklahomans do. You can just care and be nice and think that he's struggling, and you going on Twitter doesn't help.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. No, I mean, people, I think a lot of times everyone is so far removed from these players that they're just kind of like symbols almost, or they're just entertainers
Yeah.
to an extent, and you just forget like that's like a real live person that has real life struggles. I mean, if you're listening right now, I'm sure that you have gone through or are going through some kind of struggle in your life, and you wouldn't want to broadcast to everybody. You want to tell a select group of people, and you want to tell people that you trust. And I think, Abrinas and his agent trust that an organization. The Thunder know what's going on. It's not like a secret to them. And, they found it mutually beneficial for Alex to be able to go just focus on what he's struggling with, and then for the organization to be able to move on. He did give back all of the money that he would have earned the rest of the season, which I think it's not no small thing, almost $2 million for Abrines to do that. So that's a huge thing. I think that, I mean, obviously that's very helpful to the Thunder. They'll be able to reinvest that money back into another player. And it also just kind of releases Alex, because I'm sure, I know that it's killing him. Like, he's a guy that has devoted his entire life to the game of basketball, and then he can't play. I mean, if just think about the thing that you love the most, and if you weren't able to do that for whatever reason, that would just destroy. I'm sure it just destroys him in so many ways. And so I hope that he gets well. But I think it was mutually beneficial for both parties to do this, and I think they tried to do it in the most respectful way possible. So best of luck to Alex Abrines. And without further ado, we're going to talk about the Thunder beating the Houston Rockets in Houston last night, down 26 points. It was the biggest comeback in Thunder history. They're down 22 at the half, and you're just like, okay, I hope that they can come back from this. I hope that they can at least make it look respectable, because it was just atrocious. The Thunder were turning the ball over like crazy in the first half. The offense was super sloppy. The defense was okay at times. The Rockets hit a ton of tough shots. They also hit some wide open shots that the Thunder were giving them, just because the defense wasn't locked in. And then everything just kind of flipped in the second half. And really, even it took a little while for it to all really click, because they're still down 10 with, I think, 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And really, I think the credit goes to, obviously, Paul George had just a ridiculous night. 45 points, 3 assists, 11 rebounds, only 2 turnovers. Outrageous defense. He took 18 free throws. He was 6 of 14 from 3. He was everything an MVP should be last night.
Yeah.
And he out-dueled James Harden last night, not only because he outscored him, 45-42. But because he plays on both ends, and he was amazing on both ends last night. But credit goes to him. And then obviously, I think Terrence Ferguson had a huge game for the Thunder last night.
Yeah.
And then Schroeder in the second half as well, doing his second half Schroeder stuff. But just an incredible victory for this team that really, I mean, these next two games, and really I was grouping the Rockets game into the 3 games right before the All-Star break are kind of big, because you get Houston on the road, you get the Blazers at home Monday night, and then they play the Pelicans right before the All-Star break. And it's pretty, like, they need to go 2-1 at least in that little stretch. But if they could sweep that would be awesome. I don't know that they will, but if they can go 2-1, that's a huge deal. I'm sorry, I'll stop talking now.
No, you did great. I mean, you said it all. So we can finish the podcast. Okay, it was fun. No, I mean, I think 2 parts that I think are important. Yes, Russ had an interesting game on the offensive part, on the offensive point of view, especially in the fourth quarter. It was really bad. He turned the ball over. Yes, he did. No one was focusing on offense, I thought. So, yes, he passed the ball, probably not in the right spot, but I think it was like OKC being out of sync for 20 minutes. And to be honest, the Rockets being crazy hot. And I thought that Russ played the beginning of the third in a really good way. They were down big, and they didn't try to make 8-point shots. They really played through their strength. They starting to get in a flow, and then Dennis Schroeder and Paul George took the lead of the team. But I thought that those first 5 to 6 minutes, they made it a game, and Russ was extremely sharp. Then the shot didn't go in. I cannot I cannot say anything different, because he was not okay in terms of offense in the middle of the fourth. Then he started going back again the last few minutes. Another point that I think it's important, and it's related to Billy and to Abdelnader. Yesterday, if you read Billy's lips, you probably would have seen like can't play Nader, because like when he entered the game, it was like, I think it was a close game. Like, I don't remember the score, but it was close, like -2, -3, -4. I don't remember. And the Rockets targeted him every single time. It was like Cantor in the playoff. And he couldn't stay in front of anyone. He made like a few poor choices. And like, it's okay. He's almost a rookie that doesn't play very good defense, and the Rockets are just an expert team, a veteran team that will target you. And Billy pulled him in the second half, because he recognized that. He made an adjustment, and the adjustment worked, because having a guy that can play sort of good defense can help. And I think that, again, Deonte should get a contract. Either you get a very good buyout candidate, but even then you need to fill 2 spots, and there's no need to go out of your way to find 2 guys. It's already difficult to find one that can contribute. I think that you can give Deonte, like using your Emily, you can go up to 2 years probably, and then making him a restricted free agent. Just do that. He's earned his contract, and I really think that they are going to do it.
Yeah, I think they'll give him a contract too. I think it makes the most sense. You don't have to pay him much. I think if you gave him basically like a Hinkie special, where you gave him the rest of your guaranteed, and then you give him 2 years after that at a minimum non-guaranteed, I think he'd probably say sure. I mean, he's a guy that is on the fringe of being in the NBA or back in the G League or back overseas somewhere. And so I think that he would take that kind of deal. And I think that it makes sense for the Thunder. I thought he played well in the minutes that he was given.
Yeah, not just this defense. Sorry to interrupting you, but the point on having a guy like him on the floor and Jeff Van Gundy, who for like probably national team purposes, he scouted um, Burton. I'm sure he did.
Oh yeah,
He
he
said,
knew Deontay. Yeah,
yeah, I knew him. It was clear from his words. He said he's a guy that can make good
yeah.
decisions, and this is extremely important because it's true. Deontay will not be able to be effective offensively any given night, but if he can make good decisions more often than not, then you get a player that will not hurt you. This is
Hmm.
important for a second unit. He doesn't
Yeah.
need to start, he doesn't need to play 25 minutes. You need
No.
12, 10 to 12 minutes of good defense, or at least passable NBA defense, and good and smart decisions on offense. That is what OKC need because you have Dennis Schroeder, you have Paul George, you can have Steven Adams out there. You have scorers. You have guys that can take your team offensively, that can carry your team offensively. You just need a guy that doesn't screw up on either ends.
Yeah, and really, he did more than not screw up. He contributed. His rebounding. I know you look at the stat sheet and you're like, what is Deontay Burton doing, on the court? But if you watch the game, like in his
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, he missed the only shot he took. It was a three. But the three rebounds and the assists that he had were in such crucial moments of the game. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
every rebound was super crucial. It meant a lot to the team. And so for him to come in and just be able to contribute, and also the defense he played, I know he fouled James Harden on a three. That's kind of the Thunder way.
Yeah.
It was a mistake. He made a mistake, but he needs those experiences in order to play later. Do I think they'll play him in the playoffs? Probably not. But you could argue that the Thunder only need 5 minutes in the playoffs from
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
You don't need 10 minutes in the playoffs. 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes in the regular season, yes. I think that is necessary from Burton or Nader or somebody. Or if they go get somebody else, you could make the argument that Corey Brewer makes a ton of sense to have that spot because he's not going to care about his minutes. He already knows the Thunder, and he's played well here before. And so I don't know if he'll be released by the Kings or if the Kings will sign him for the rest of the season. I don't know what situation is, but you could argue that he would make some sense. And then I've said this before, I'm watching the guys on the Clippers. The Clippers won last night, and that doesn't mean that necessarily that they're heading for the playoffs, but it was a really good win for them beating the Celtics, and they came back down from 28 points. So they had like a 26-point comeback and a 28-point comeback last night for the Clippers. But I'm still watching that team super close. And what do they do? And also the Grizzlies. They'll probably carry all those guys the rest of the season. If I'm them, like I'd let go of some of the vets that aren't making a lot of money. And I just cycle in G League guys and 10-day contracts and like see if you can find somebody the rest of the season. Because like a guy like Avery Bradley, I know everybody's been obsessed with that dude. Like he could be a guy that's released, but he may want a bigger role. And that's the thing with the buyout market. And the guys that have it, like Wayne Ellington did not choose the Thunder because the Detroit Pistons came to him and said, "Hey, listen, you can start and you can play a lot of minutes, and we want you to help us make the playoffs." Awesome. That for Wayne Ellington helps him get another contract. If Wayne Ellington comes to OKC and he plays 5 to 10 minutes a night, maybe makes 3 threes total in the playoffs, is he getting a big deal? Probably not. The Thunder are like, hey, you want a minimum contract to come on back? Or he's going to go elsewhere for probably a minimum? I mean, I just don't think it doesn't behoove him to do that. If you have a guy who's older, like a Corey Brewer, who's just trying to play a few more games or a few more years in the league, like that's the kind of guy that the Thunder could use. And will those guys appear on the buyout market? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But if they don't, the fact is that you have to carry 14 guys on your roster, and the Thunder have 12. Yeah. And so they need to sign 2 guys. They have to. Could they sign both two-way guys? Sure, they could. That could be a reality where they sign both of them for the rest of the season just because they have to carry 14 guys. It would be ideal to go find somebody that could play some minutes. So I'm watching the YouTube chat, and Josh Wood, who's Ava's dad, is watching from Children's Hospital. So what's up, Josh? He said that Ava's in good spirits. That is wonderful. We're so happy for that. And we're going to continue to pray for her and donate. I posted the GoFundMe, and I know somebody's saying that it won't work from somebody in New Zealand won't accept the card. I'm sorry. I really have no idea how to handle a situation like that. But if you could donate to Ava through the GoFundMe, I posted it on my Twitter link. It's on Facebook as well. But if you'll just go to GoFundMe.com, you can search Ava's Faith through aplastic anemia and donate. I think they're close to only $2,000 away from hitting their $10,000 goal. And remember, like, that's a very specific number. That's not just a number that's just thrown out there willy-nilly. That's a number that would greatly, greatly help the Wood family. So if you have the means to donate anything, $1 is awesome. If you're able to donate $100, there's been several Down to Dunkers that have done that. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Just continue to help this family. That's why we're here at Matt Trotter's right now. If you're watching on YouTube and you're very confused as to why there's people in the background and there's this bus back here, it's because we're at Matt Trotter's. This is the place where Ava did gymnastics. Her sister does gymnastics here. This family is very ingrained in this community. And so these are their people, and they are putting on this big blood drive and fundraiser for her, and that's why we're here. So let's go back to talking about this game. I feel like there's a lot of layers to this game yesterday. I can't say enough about the impact that Terrence Ferguson has on this team. I just can't. That last possession where Russell gets the driving layup, one, it was an incredible read and play by Russell Westbrook. Yeah. Like, he exploded through that double team before they could even execute it. I mean, that's the reason he got the layup. But the reason it was wide open and nobody contested him is because, one, James Harden doesn't play defense on the other side of the court when he's guarding Jeremy Grant. And you do have to guard Jeremy Grant to an extent. Of course, he's hit some big shots down the stretch. But Chris Paul was not going to leave T-Ferg. Like, he just wasn't. And so he has to be close enough. And basically, at that point, he takes him out of the play. And I love Dre. I think Dre needs to be on this team. I think that Dre needs to be on this team for them to go far in the playoffs. But the difference is massive. Because if that's Dre in the corner, you best believe Russell Westbrook does not get a wide open layup at the end of that game, because they're going to triple team him. They're going to throw three guys at him. They're going to try the trap, and they're going to have Chris Paul over there. But you know what? He wasn't, because the Thunder have threats from the outside now, and that is such a big thing for this team, especially come playoff time. Because come playoff time, teams would just load up. They would load up. And if the Thunder can go get somebody in the buyout market that can hit a shot, you could go small in those situations too, and have Jeremy at center and Paul George at the power forward, and then whoever it is, and then T-Ferg and Russ. Like, I don't think that you can really stop that. So the emergence of Terrence Ferguson at this age, which I think is unexpected to everybody. I mean, I don't think the Thunder thought they were getting this guy this year. I think there was hope down the line that maybe you get somebody like this, but for him to have the progression that he's had is tremendous. It's tremendously important. He had 15 points last night. He was 3 of 5 from 3. He had 3 assists. He had that lob to Nerlens Noel.
I want to talk about that.
It was probably the best lob pass thrown to him to Noel all season, because everybody seems to not be able to throw him a good lob pass. And Terrence Ferguson drives the ball, attacks the closeout, drives the ball. He probably would have just shot it in a normal circumstance, but he's making reads on the offensive end. And I think that any sort of ceiling that people are placing on him now, just like, shut those down and wait for this dude to develop, because I think that he is showing a lot more. And also goes back to Summer League. How many people, probably including myself, killed him in the Summer League in the beginning of the season? Oh, Hamidou Diallo is better. Oh, he should do this. And I'm a part of this. I am completely guilty of this. But the Thunder knew what they were doing. This coaching staff knows what they're doing in terms of developing players. And if the players will put in the work, and Terrence Ferguson it will result in something great. And you see the same kind of stuff in Hami. Hami's playing in a G League game today. He's hitting shots. I've seen from Brett's timeline that he's hitting shots and playing well. They did the same kind of stuff with T-Ferg last year, and Hami's working hard. Like, the guy is putting in the work. And so they've got, and I still am really high on the future of Hamidou Diallo, but the importance of the player that Terrence Ferguson is, and what he's done to help this current team, I just can't imagine what they'd be without him. I mean, if you don't have Dre and you have Terrence Ferguson, like, yeah, he's okay. This team isn't anywhere close to the level that they're at right now, where you could think, yeah, I could see them making the Western Conference Finals. I could see that happening. But without him, it's not too far off from last year, where it's like, yeah, I could see this team going second round, but they could lose in the first round. I'd be a little surprised at this point if this team were to fail like they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, and shout out to Maddie Lee, because she, before the Houston Rockets game, she was talking to Ferg about, and she wrote about him being able to dish more,
Yeah.
to share more the ball, and that, I think, is something that we were, me, you, and probably also Alex, we were discussing at the beginning of the season, about where Terrence Ferguson can end up being a better player than OG Anunoby, the guy that many of us, including us, thought that probably OKC should have drafted. And one of the points that I was making and we were discussing was, if he is able to do what OKC's envision him to do in Summer League, and that is creating for others after a pick and roll or after a spot up opportunity that can become attacking a closeout, then we are looking to a completely different player. And of course, we weren't sure. We saw glimpses of that. And now we are witnessing what happens. It happens that a guy like Chris Paul, who is a defense savant, cannot leave Terrence because A, is afraid of a shot, and B, if he's too far away or makes the closeout a tad too late, he's going to attack him. And he knows how to put the ball on the floor. He knows how to fake a shot and to make an alley-oop. This is not easy. This is not easy against a team like the Houston Rockets that, with Paul being back, they have a good starting unit in terms of defense. Yes, Farid is not great, and that splitting that Russ did was almost all his fault. But they are veterans.
Was that Farid or Nene out there?
Maybe Nene, you're right. The hairs were extremely misleading for me.
Oh, it's incredibly difficult to see the difference between the two. What if the guys on the court are having the same problem?
Yeah, probably so. Anyway, okay, I don't remember what I was saying.
You're talking about T-Ferg.
Yeah, no, the point that the Rockets have veterans. They have like tough guys that have been to the playoffs, that knows how to defend. And this is almost a rookie. Guys of his age are rookies. And he's able to do those kind of things. This is really incredible. And again, I was wrong last year to want him not to play, because clearly this coaching staff knows. Yeah. And it's almost unfair to expect from Hamidou the same growth that T-Ferg had. But totally if he's going, it's unfair because it's early, he's young, he's way more rough in terms of basketball and in terms also of basketball experience. I think that Terrence was highly recruited. He had like a ton of basketball already played, and he just decided to go to Australia. Anyway. I'm close.
Just say his shooting with Hami.
Yeah,
like Hami's pretty skilled, and really, to me, if he can get that corner three down, where he's getting even 35% from the corner, which is not great from the corner. I mean, overall, 35% is pretty nice, but if you could shoot 35 just from the corner, and he could use this, he's really good at using his athleticism. He can actually handle pretty well. Like I think, like he's got some skill. Like there's a lot to work with there.
He's 3 of 5 from 3, by the way, tonight.
See? He's the man. No, I like him. I like the potential of him. I don't know if he can contribute like this next season, but I would be pretty surprised if he is not a guy that's in the rotation for the Thunder in the next 2 years. I'd be surprised, but I've been surprised before.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fair to expect him to be better. You
Yeah.
can be like as a second round pick, if you become the eighth or the ninth player in a rotation of a team that makes the playoff, that's a home run. That's really a
Oh,
home run. And
no
Hamidu
doubt.
in 20 games was that this season. He was able to help this
Yeah.
season already. And so yeah, if he keeps that trajectory, who knows? Um,
And
but yeah,
again, the dude works hard.
yeah,
Um,
that's do you think Terrence is going to put some weight this summer? I'm wondering this. If he's going to be a little bit bulkier next season, that could help. If he
yeah,
can retain his quickness and be a little bit more, say, strong,
he'll put
we're
on some
looking to
he'll put on some weight, certainly.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's always going to be skinny, wiry though. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like you look at even a guy like Corey Brewer who played a long time in the NBA. He like came into the league probably just as skinny as Terrence, and he's not that much heavier than Terrence now. You know,
Yeah.
you put on a little bit of weight. You would hope that Terrence could eventually put on a little bit more, but I don't know that he really needs to. He's still able
Oh.
to defend at a super high level, even without it. But would it be nice? Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to see what his frame is able to take on over time. But I we'll see. Last season, I was kind of concerned about it, but seeing the way that he defended yesterday, I wasn't. And speaking of defense, I thought that Russell at the end of the game really took the challenge of defending James Harden, and that was super fun to see him do that and to contest the way he did on that final shot. I thought was a really big deal. And Russell, like overall, yeah, he had 10 turnovers. Not a great thing. But I think his leadership and the way that he just is so relentless put that team where they were yesterday. I mean, you saw him, and I tweeted out a picture of him.
Yeah, I saw that.
He had his arms around Terrence Ferguson and Jeremy Grant. They're down like 15. And I don't know what he's saying to him, but like those are like crucial leadership moments for those two guys, like these young guys. They've got Russell Westbrook in their ear telling them whatever, obviously encouraging things that they can. I mean, it's just that's a huge thing for this team, and the way that he just doesn't stop, because you had Terrence and Paul George with 5 fouls there at the end of the game, and if one of those guys fouls out with 2 minutes to go, I mean, I think the result is different. The result could be very different, especially if it's Paul. I mean, if it's Paul, yes, the result is probably different.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Russell's like, no, and anytime that they tried to get a switch, he'd just switch right over. He would just take the challenge. Like he's stepping up to the challenge every time. And he was making the choice. He's making the decision, and he was going to live with whatever happened. And he stepped up. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the defense and with James Harden, sometimes you can play great defense. You can play if you play bad defense, that's a problem. If you
Yeah.
play like uh, how could I say that? Okay defense. You just need to stay in front. Don't yield
Mm-hmm.
in his first step and try to contest as much as you can. That is the best you can do. The
Mm-hmm.
rest is icing on the cake. And sometimes it doesn't even matter. I saw a penetration where Terrence basically contested him until the last step he took. It didn't matter. The next possession, he did the same and he got a piece of the ball. So with James, is more on him than on you. When he misses, it's probably him because the shots that he takes are so difficult anyway. The
Right.
thing that you cannot do is again playing bad defense because if you lose him on the first step, that is a basket, and that is
Yeah.
how they lost the game in Houston on Christmas. They just lost
Mm-hmm.
him, and the floater that Harden did the possession before, missing the step back three, wasn't an easy one. He had to work. He couldn't get all the way, and that's important. he makes a basket, great. He's an MVP candidate, not probably as sure as a week ago, I would say, but he's still in the lead, and so it's he's going to make those baskets. But yeah, Russ played I think 3 possessions in a row. Good defense, contesting the back three well enough, and that was extremely important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought they played Harden pretty well. I know he still had 42 points on 28 shots, which is pretty great. 14 of 15 from the line, but he only finished with 1 assist and 5 turnovers last night.
That's the single assist is maybe the best because Harden, and again, I watched like hundreds of possessions last year. He's very good in doing that pick and roll. And probably the assist, if I'm not mistaken, was to Farid the first minute of the game. So he basically stayed the remaining minutes without an assist.
It was without a doubt that, yes.
Yeah. Or they miscalculated the assist, or that was because I remember him probably in the first play. And so the fact that OKC was able to hold him to 0 assists for the remainder of the game is incredible. Mm-hmm. They were never able to find the corner. And yes, some is probably missed shots, but hey, that happens.
Yeah, it does. Ask Russell Westbrook. He's got guys that miss shots all the time, and he's still leading the league in assists. He finished with 11 last night. Russell did. And I think the 1 assist is pretty crucial. And Chris Paul looked pretty good last night. Better than he has in a while. He finished 18 points, 9 assists, 10 boards himself. I thought that he was super good. And so this is a good Rockets team. That's a really good win. I thought PJ Tucker didn't score last night. He was 0 of 3. But the defense he played on Paul George was outstanding.
Yes.
He was awesome. I thought Rivers off the bench played a pretty good 16 minutes for them, had 10 points. Iman Shumpert came in. He played pretty good. He played good defense himself. He hit a 3. He was only 1 of 5. And that's kind of the difference between like King Shumpert and Rockets Shumpert is that King Shumpert, he could do just whatever he wanted and had the ball in his hands. And I just kind of wonder about this version of him, because this version of Shump was not great with LeBron the last couple of years in Cleveland. Like it just wasn't that great with him.
So can we
have to? Yeah, go ahead.
No, so can we conclude that both LeBron James and James Harden make their teammates worse?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I think the point to me is guys have different. Guys are comfortable doing different things in the league. I think that Shumpert will have good games and he'll play well for the Rockets, but I don't know that he's completely comfortable just being a guy that touches the ball 5 times in a game. And some guys are. Some guys are completely comfortable with that. Eric Gordon, even though he hasn't shot the ball well this year, like he's been super good playing next to James Harden. A guy like Gerald Green, he's played really well in that role next to James, just catching and shooting. That's really about it. Austin Rivers has been awesome for them. He was 3 of 5 from 3 himself last night. That's a great role for him. Like a guy like Terrence Ferguson, like he's pretty comfortable just touching the ball the few times that he does and taking the few shots that he takes. But there's players that need the ball a little bit more to have that level of comfort. And so it's interesting. You can't just plug and play any guy and they'll be good. And, the Thunder have struggled to find guys that can play that role. Jeremy Lamb was never able to play that role for OKC. Yeah, even though that's what they kind of hoped that he would be. Same with Perry Jones. Like these guys, not everybody is just plug and play. And it'll be interesting to see if Shumpert can be that kind of guy. I know, like you still see like a random like Perry Jones Instagram post where he's like, "Yeah, I'm making a comeback." Like, oh, no. I feel so sad.
Oh no, that's sad.
I feel super sad. Let's go over some of the overall stats for the Thunder as a team. Oh, never mind. There's some very not big news. Chris Boucher is signing with the Toronto Raptors because the Toronto Raptors have 5 open roster spots after they made the trade for Marc Gasol.
Who's the guy?
Chris Boucher.
Butcher. I need to see the name in print because otherwise
I don't even know if I'm
that
saying
that
it
doesn't
right.
ring a bell to me. But
The
let's showcase my ignorance.
right. The Thunder are up to 13th in offensive efficiency on the season, which is pretty good to be in the top half of the league when they were in the bottom half of the league for most of the season. Defensive rating, they're third. They're 104.9, and then net rating at a 5.3, which ties them with the Indiana Pacers for fourth in the NBA. So this team is still doing really, really well. Like this is still a good team. Are they a title contender?
Mhm.
Probably not.
No.
But they are definitely a team that will contend to be in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the only other West team in the top 6 in net rating. It's Milwaukee, Golden State, Boston, Indiana, OKC, Toronto.
Oh wow.
That's kind of interesting. And
Yeah.
then you have Denver, Utah at 7 and 8. And Utah being at 8 in net rating is that's pretty interesting that they're
And I think they are up to a big run at the end of the season because of the schedule. They really have an easy schedule. That doesn't mean that they will jump to the third spot or that they'll end up being above the Thunder. But if I have to bet, um, I saw him play better basketball as of late, and I think they will end up having um, the home court advantage in the playoffs.
yeah, you could end up seeing a 4-5 Utah Rockets series.
No, that could be fun. Or with
That-
Portland. Fun anyway.
yeah, or with Portland. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Thunder
Yeah,
get Portland tomorrow night in OKC Monday night. Uh, Portland's on the second night of a back-to-back, which is
that's scary.
definitely makes things interesting
Yeah.
for the Thunder. So it's a big one. It's a big game. They need to beat these teams, especially at home. Second night of a back-to-back. They need to be able to beat the Portland Trailblazers, and they've beaten them this year. They've actually done it, and so they
Yeah.
need to keep
Yeah, and
they
they
need to
can
keep that up.
clinch the season series tonight, which is important. I mean, you never know
Yeah.
what happens.
No.
The season is still way too long, and having a team that is currently behind you, having the tiebreaker,
Mm-hmm.
that's very important. And so,
Yeah.
and also, I really want them to play feisty defense from the start. They
Yeah.
need to swarm them from the beginning because if you do that on a team with a team on a back to back on a second night of the back to back, if you start hot and you don't let them go into a flow,
Mm-hmm.
it is helpful. It is really important that they um, come out strong.
Yeah. I have a question from YouTube. It's from Josh
Hmm.
Wood. He wants to know if this is a game that we should make a big deal about. Is this the Thunder? Is this a Thunder achievement or a Rocket collapse?
Boy, that's a good question. I don't think they collapsed. They shoot the ball poorly in the second half, but
Mm-hmm.
OKC lost the ball like crazy in the first half, and they
Yeah.
didn't shoot the ball particularly well. So I would say that the Rockets competed, and to
Yeah.
me, um, I was texting you after the Memphis game. I was talking to you about the fact that that game was important because they showed that the Thunder could care and they could take a game seriously. And I
Yeah.
think that last night they did take the game seriously. They were down, they didn't quit, they tried. They tried in the right way, not just let's see if we should like 33s. How what happens? No, they didn't do that. They
Yeah.
really competed hard. They competed the way they are supposed to. They did the things where they are strong. That
Mm-hmm.
are play passing lane and generate good shots. And if you do that with a with good effort, you are winning most games. And And so I think this is a Thunder win. The Rockets didn't have enough to compete, and so I don't want to take anything from OKC.
Yeah. To me, here's kind of the flow of the game. It started out, the first quarter was a great quarter of basketball.
Yeah,
I thought both teams competed really well. And then
yeah,
Thunder let go of the rope in the second quarter.
yeah,
They were awful. I mean, they were throwing the
yeah.
ball away, they were missing rotations, like it was just sloppy basketball. And then that flipped in the third quarter where the Thunder came back. And I don't know that the Rockets just kept doing what they were doing and they just missed. I felt like. And the Thunder were making shots and they were making plays and they played better on the defensive end. And then by the time the fourth quarter hit, it was tied at 90. And then the fourth quarter was it was nip and tuck. The Thunder had the lead. They went up by like 6 at points, and then like the Rockets would retake the lead, and like it was just a really good basketball game. And so I think that was just a high level NBA basketball game. Now, like what do the Rockets look like once Clint Capella comes back? I mean, that changes the equation quite a bit. And the Thunder can't play like they did last night and beat this Rockets team. I think they have got to be better.
Yeah.
But until then, like it was a really quality win against a team that's been playing well lately. This Rockets team has been playing well, and yeah, I think that it's definitely a big time achievement for this team to refocus. I mean, it's the biggest comeback in Thunder history, 26 points down. I mean, that's an achievement in itself, and that doesn't happen by accident. You have to fight and claw and just continue to chip away and believe in what you're doing. And honestly, like those are typically games where Russell will lose it a little bit and take 12 threes in a game and shoot the Thunder basically out of it. And he didn't. He remained focused. No. Did he take bad shots? Yes. Did Russell play in a game? Yes. Then did he take bad shots? The answer is yes. So, but I thought he remained focused on both ends. I thought Paul George was given a chance to take over, and he did. You had guys spotting up. Terrence Ferguson, Jeremy Grant hit that big-time three off the Deontay Burton assist. You just had guys that just stepped up. Like everybody collectively did. Dennis Schroeder did his second half Dennis Schroeder stuff. I mean, it was a big-time win for this team and just kind of a little identity check for them. And so it'd be interesting to see if they can carry that over into the Portland game, and then I don't really know what to expect from the Pelicans. With the Anthony Davis weird stuff, I could see the Thunder easily losing that game just because the Thunder are going to be not just completely underestimate the situation going into it. But it's a big deal. Some 3-point shooting stats for the Thunder. Paul George is at 40.8% on the season on 9 attempts per game. 9. That's huge.
Wow.
Ferguson's up to 38.6% on the season. Jeremy Grant, 37.3% on the season. Nader, 36.2. Dennis Schroeder, 36% on 4.2 attempts per game on the season.
That is huge. That's
massive.
Huge.
And then Patrick Patterson, 35.9%. He hit a three last night on 2.3 attempts per game. So the Thunder have 6 players who are all playing meaningful minutes for them that are shooting 35% and above, which is just crazy. And
especially
one of them
taking into account where they started.
Yeah, and also taking into account that the guy who was probably the best shooter on their team isn't on the team anymore, and Alex Abrines. Yeah. I mean, if you told me preseason that the Thunder are going to have 6 players shooting 35.9% or better come February, I would have guaranteed you that Alex Abrines would have been one of them, and I would have obviously been wrong. And then I've been like, well, then who is it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. I mean, I probably would have guessed Terrence Ferguson. Would I have really believed in it? I don't know. I would have never believed 38.6% on the attempts taken.
No.
Never believed that. And then
the attempts for PG. The attempts for PG. Can I read the last 5 games?
Yeah, please.
Miami 10 on 16. Boston 5 on 16. That was bad game. Orlando 6 of 15. Memphis 6 of 13. Houston 6 of 14. So he took in the last 5 games 13 threes or more. That is great.
This is, you know what?
That's awesome.
This is something that I remember. Sorry for bringing Katie up, but I remember the 2014 season.
Yeah.
He was not taking enough threes.
No, he never did. Still doesn't.
Still doesn't. This is the weirdest part of KD game.
Yeah, it is.
And PG, I'm so into him taking more than 10 threes per game.
Oh yeah.
It seems preposterous, but when you're shooting like 40%, who cares? Just shoot threes.
Yeah.
I don't want mid range. Just take like off the dribble threes, like he did last night. At the point, he was dancing. He did something. It was ballet. It was really ballet. When he nailed the three and Green fouled him. That if you look at the footwork, that is textbook step back three.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I mean,
He's been great.
I was amazed.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. If you look at Terrence Ferguson's stats, he's taken 27 threes in 5 games in February. He took 30 threes total in December. Took 30 threes total in November.
Yeah.
In 14 games in December, he took 30 threes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is that's almost triple the amount of games. I mean, if you wonder, if you're sitting back and you're like, why is the Thunder offense so much better? I'll point to you one person. And that's the impact that a volume, high efficiency, 3-point shooting wing can make on your team.
Yeah.
And that's something that Russell team. Yes, that's something, and we've been begging for this. That's why we wanted Alex to start at the shooting guard to start the season.
Yeah.
Let's just give it a try.
Yeah.
And that's why Russell's been one of his better seasons. I know everybody wants to talk about his shooting, and I love the way that Paul George handled that at the end of the game after Lisa Salters asked him about it. He's like, we've got to stop with this narrative. Like, give me a break. And Royce went on a little Twitter rant today too.
Yeah,
I haven't read that. I'm sure you have all read that because we all read everything Royce Young does. But it's true. If Russell Westbrook was an efficient shooter, he'd be the best player in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine like an efficient
not even close to
No, it wouldn't be close.
No.
He's one of the best passers, the top 5 passer in the league. He's the best rebounder at his position. He's a good defender when he wants to be. And if the dude hit threes like everybody just thinks that he should, then he would be the best player in the world.
He would be Dwayne Wade on steroids. Like, you remember peak Dwayne Wade? The guy who can shoot whatever and score whatever. If Russ is up to, like, if shooting number were up to like 48, 49%, that guy would have been averaging 30 points plus a triple-double.
Yeah.
In this modern NBA.
It would be unfair. The Thunder would be the best team in the league if he could hit threes.
Oh, yeah.
The fact is that
last night, like, cut 4 possessions or 5 possessions away and make them effective possession. The Thunder was like, they were blowing out the Rockets if Russ has a good game. Like, no chance. The Rockets has no chance if Russ doesn't lose 10 times the ball and shooting like poorly from the court.
Right.
That's not even a game. And so yeah. I mean,
with all that said, I wish he'd hit more shots. But he's contributing at a high level in a lot of other areas, and people just need to take notice of that. Like, nobody, like, when Rajon Rondo was tearing up the league when he played for the Celtics, was everybody just sitting back? Well, he just can't shoot it. Like Jason Kidd, when he was dragging those Nets teams to the finals, was everybody just like, well, I just wish he could shoot it, And a lot of it's because Russell does take a lot of shots, and I get it. I totally get it. If he either, like, he probably needs to hit a point where he's either taking less shots, or he is making shots. Like, that's going to happen. My kids are here. Those will probably that needs to happen at some point.
Let's hope it happens at the right moment.
Yeah. I mean, if that happens come the playoffs and Russell somehow turns, I mean, I won't even go there because I'm just
like 46%. Can we ask for 46? It's not a great number. 45.
It's a fine number
from the field.
Yeah.
45% from the field on a 30% percent from three. That's not asking too much.
Brett Dawson just sent me this text that he's at the Blue game and he's pretty sure that Hami just checked in with 10 minutes left at the scores table telling the girl that he's super bored. That's the G League game.
Yeah.
So it's an NBA player playing in a G League game.
Have you seen the text I sent you?
I did. You shipped me a skinny Giannis.
So people can apparently, even if they are very skinny, they can bulk up a bit. Can you imagine Terrence Ferguson bulking up like Giannis?
I can't even go there because, I mean, like that's like Terrence Ferguson. Like, there's a fringe all-star in there. Best case scenario,
wow,
there's a fringe all-star in there.
Wow.
What do you mean? Wow.
Yeah, wow. I hope that happens.
I don't know that it'll happen. I think there's a lot of. I mean, there are a lot of guys in the league that have that potential to get there. Like they have that ceiling. Do they all get there? The answer is usually no, because very, very few players make the All-Star team in their career. But if you were like to ask me, like, would it be impossible for him to make an All-Star team in his career? I would say no. It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yes. If the passing stuff happens and the volume increases, like say that next season, Russ decides that he makes a present, start of the season present to Terrence and says, "You are going to take 15 shots, and I'm going to take 12 shots," and that continues for a couple of years. Then yes.
Kyle Korver made an All-Star team.
Yeah, that's why. But he needs. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's impossible. I think he has to be a 40% shooter, plus being that good of a defender for a long stretch. Because when you play with Russ and PG, and Grant and Adams,
you're talking like years long stretches.
I think you need if you shot the ball like this season on a higher volume for 2 seasons in a row, then you start to be in a Siakam kind of level.
You develop the reputation, and that's honestly that's what gets you. That's what gets you to the All-Star game is the reputation.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton.
Middleton
is not even close. Chris Middleton's in the All-Star game this season, not because of the way that he's played, because if you just took this season for Chris Middleton, it's not even close to his best season.
No. And to be honest, Middleton, good comp.
For T-Ferg, it's not bad. He's skinny.
Yeah, he's skinny. He's primarily a spot-up shooter that likes for Terrence even doesn't even like the mid-range. So that's a start.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, we're making ourselves ridiculous probably, but who cares? It's Sunday.
Yeah, it is
late.
This would not be the first or the last time I'm going to make myself look like an idiot on this show. So I'm not.
Who cares?
I'm not holding back.
That's important stuff.
Any buyout candidates that stick out to you? Because the Thunder within the next couple weeks will need to sign a guy. So does anybody stand out to you potentially that's not bought out yet, or is there a guy that is? You know, everybody's asked about. I mean, I don't know how many mentions I got about Michael Beasley yesterday, and
oh no, please, dear God, no! Like that guy. I know. How can he play in OKC? Like this guy has never been part of an healthy team.
Yeah,
he doesn't know how to play positional or organized defense. He will mess up every possession. For that, we already have Nader. I know that Bees has more talent, but we already have a guy that can play offense and has no idea sometimes how to play defense.
Exactly.
I'm being a little bit unfair, but I don't like
particularly. I don't know that you are. Can you imagine Michael Beasley playing in yesterday's game for the Thunder?
Yeah.
That's the question that you have to ask
Nader
yourself.
Experience with more shots and probably less defense, which sounds impossible, but it is because Nader tries. He fails, but tries.
Yes.
So I don't think I love the idea of Corey Brewer. I get why you mentioned that. but I'm afraid Billy will play him over other guys. That makes
Over who?
over Deontay, for example.
He'd play him over Deontay.
Yeah, I'd rather have him develop. I'd rather have a look. Let's put it this way. I'll try Deontay for a bit, and
Yeah.
if that doesn't work, I'll sign Corey Brewer then.
Yeah.
As a last, but what I would love is one of the Clippers guy.
Oh, yeah.
Chandler, Jermichael Green, Garrett Temple.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
if I have like bad blood with him because he bashed my city on national
Who
media.
did?
Garrett Temple.
He did.
Yes, my hometown. Oh, my close to my hometown. Because
Wow.
yeah, it was. He
Garrett.
spoke about. Yes, he was playing here for a season, and it didn't end up well. They were dead last in the league.
This.
Yeah. And he wasn't very professional about the city. And so, yeah, I don't like him. But anyway, he will be a great fit in OKC. So
he'd be a good player for the Thunder.
I don't have to like him. So
it'd be nice if you would. It'd be nice if you would just forgive him. I'm just joking. I'm giving you a hard time. I think the guy, if I could pick one of those guys, it'd be Wilson Chandler, no question. Because the Thunder need a guy that can play both spots in a pinch.
Exactly.
So Garrett Temple's not that. No. Yeah, and Garrett Temple's not a 3 either.
No.
He's not big enough.
No, he's 6'5".
Yeah, he's 6'5". He's a shooting guard, and they don't really need another one of those guys just because Russell and Schroeder are going to take up those minutes in the playoffs.
And it's not big enough to allow, say, Russ, Schroeder plus Temple lineup is kind of small. I don't like it.
It's too small. It's way too small.
Like it,
I'd rather play Ferg at that spot. If you're going to do that, you play Ferguson, who's 6'7". He has much better length than a guy like Garrett Temple does.
Yeah.
So that's what I would, and then that's what I would do. And I'm still not giving up hope that Dre could return. And if Dre returns, it changes the equation completely.
Yeah,
completely. At that point, you really don't need to go get a Wilson Chandler or Jermichael Green. You here's what I'd just sign your 2-way guys and just let them be on the roster.
Or you can really do 10 days contract to give a run to players.
Sure.
That are in the league. Like bring Hervey 10 days, bring whoever 10 days, and you're like you spend less money doing that.
Yeah, you'd save a lot of money doing it that way.
Yeah,
that's true.
You'd save money, and you can get your G League. I don't know if you can do that with a G League guy. Probably so. With
a 10-day contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think so. So just give your blue guys a run with the grown-ups, like 10 days. Yeah. And you give him an extra money that makes them happy. You don't need, again, if Deontay works, you don't really need a guy.
Agreed. And I like Deontay of course I like Deontay a lot, but
unless you get, like, if Wilson Chandler says to you, "I'm coming," you say, "Sign." You have a 15 roster spot for that. Like, even if you have Deontay and a 10-day,
sure,
you just sign him, and then you let the 10-day expires, and you're done. So I would look hard into great players, good players that can help you, but I would not go crazy on signing Corey Brewer tomorrow.
No. I think you wait. Until the last possible moment and know exactly who's out there. And if Corey Brewer might be the best guy out there, in which case you just have to fill the spot. Like you have to.
If you have to, again, just do that. But it's not like a thing to rush upon.
No. But he's a guy that you could trust out there for 5 minutes so that Paul George doesn't play 48 minutes in a playoff game. Okay. Thanks for listening to our show. You can follow Michele on Twitter at Mikey Berra. Follow me on Twitter at Andrew K. Schlecht. Follow our podcast at Down to Dunk. Thanks for listening. If you're watching, thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm live at Matt Trotter's. We're here at Ava's Blood Drive. I'm about to go give blood myself. My family just got here. My parents just got here. My little sister just got here. She's going to give blood too. Super exciting. So, but But yeah, this is all for Ava Wood in her fight against aplastic anemia. So if you could donate to her, they're needing to hit that $10,000 mark. So again, it's a super specific number for them and their family. So if you could go to their GoFundMe, you can go to GoFundMe.com, search Ava's Faith Through Aplastic Anemia, donate to them. Let's get to that $10,000 mark. Let's do it. Like, you guys have already helped a tremendous amount, and the family and their friends and their community is so grateful for it. That's why we're here today. But if you could do that, that would mean so much to them. So if you have the means to give even a little bit or give a lot, whatever you can, let's do that. Let's get them there. If you could donate blood in her name anywhere that the Oklahoma Blood Institute is, let them know that it's for Ava Wood. That money, or the blood, necessarily doesn't go to her because you have to have a matching blood type. But even if you don't, you can donate to her, and then the blood that she receives that is a match is free to her family. And so it's still a big deal. So donate in Ava's name, your blood, your money, and that would just be wonderful. So have a great day. We'll talk to you guys again Wednesday with Alex Spears. Alex, I was trying to get him on the show for today. Alex is, I don't know if you guys even know how, obviously you do because you listen, but he's a brilliant person that's giving a lecture today. And he's just a brilliant guy that we're really lucky to have. But he is preparing for you guys a super special Al Baby Cakes basketball hour, or Deborah Bucket's basketball hour, my bad, right now for you guys. So be ready for that Wednesday. We'll talk to you guys then.